As you can probably see on the green behind you now, the next match on this morning, they're practicing. Now this ought to be a really good game. There's John Bancroft out there, and he's playing Everitt Atkinson. Now, I suppose you could say that a lot of people would fancy John Bancroft to win this title, Mike, couldn't he?
Well, yes, he's heavily tipped to win it. He's a player with some pedigree these days, is John, and I think he'll regard this as he should win this game. He'll certainly think that against an opponent with not so much competitive experience as himself.
It's almost John Bancroft's time to win the Waterloo, isn't it? I mean, he's won a lot of big sweeps. He's a good player, and if he's in form, he should walk away with it. Yeah,
there's never really a time to win the Waterloo, of course. There's a lot of good players who've won everything else who can't win the Waterloo. And it becomes depressing year after year when everybody pats you on the back when you've lost and says, don't worry lad, you've plenty of time left. And the years go by and you never do win it. But that's not to say John won't, because he's certainly got the ability to.
So perhaps we'll blight his chances by talking about it too much, but there he is.
Well, that's right.
Banjo Bancroft, he's playing in this third match this morning against Everitt Atkinson. The bowlers assembling at the table, going to meet the referee. They'll be tossing up in a second or two. So for the third match of the day, let's rejoin the commentary with Harry Rigby.
Now we have the match between John Bancroft of Hyde in red, and Everitt Atkinson, one of the lads from Cumbria, in green on the right. Terry Ashcroft tossing the coin. The referee, Terry Ashcroft. Now, slight adjustment while he puts the lid on. Now, pick up the jack. Nice and comfortable. Throw the mat down and hope he doesn't have to carry it about too much. Atkinson is 55 from Windermere in Cumbria. Been bowling for 17 years. In competitions for the past 3 years. His club is the Bowness Club up there in the Lake District. There's the first lead. Bancroft just dies short now. Busy player, John Bancroft. In red, very talented, very attractive player to watch, but still got to put him near to win. Oh, bit of a collision, but he's got away with it and stands 2. Well, the lad from Cumbria made a maximum start at the first end, pegging 2 against John Bancroft from Hyde. Nice little start. Certainly running into the top-class opposition here. As Bancroft's quite a player. 25 years of age. Certainly won quite a bit of stuff in the last 4 or 5 years. Both struggling a little bit with the green. Neither really hit a length. Bancroft now improving. Found the length with the second ball and countered the end, a single. Michael, you've seen John a few times, haven't you, in the last year or two, and he's one of the favourites to win the event this year. I know that doesn't mean a thing, really, the way some matches turn out on here, but how do you assess him, John, and bowlers, Mike, and bowlers that you've seen?
Well, I assess him as a very, very good player. He's very confident, and that counts for a lot. Can play anywhere on the green. No particular weaknesses, I don't think. And obviously a player with the ability to win it. Just started a bit slowly. I think one difficulty is when you practice, say, at 9:30, 9:45 in the morning, and then you go on at 11:45, you tend to think the green has quickened up a lot more than it has. And so there tends to be, early on, a few short woods played.
The lad from Cumbria, Everitt Atkinson, just sneaked in there. Bancroft shaking his head there, he can't believe it. Certainly thinks he put enough in the ball, but it didn't get there. Maybe a little bit of moisture still around on the green, which received a severe soaking over the weekend, but has recovered marvellously. There's Everitt Atkinson, the Cumbrian. Counts a single. And go over the far side, and the crowd just settled down again, Mike, after the Freddie Hume revival show that very nearly came off.
Well, they'll be wondering what on earth they're in for now after seeing that. I think the place would have been in uproar if Fred had won from 18-5 down. But we've had everything so far. We've had a game where they can't count two ends together, and a game where they can't get in at all if they haven't got the jack. So what are we going to have this time?
Banjo's hoping we're going to have Banjo winning, but the way he's playing, the name Banjo, of course, was a nickname that was given to him during his early days at Denton Cricket Club. They had a nice green there, and there's one or two young men that have made the name in the game since, like Mike Chamberlain and Colin Price, people like that, and they sort of dubbed each other with comic names, and he got stuck with Banjo. And he's hoping to strum a victory tune here, but he's not playing them too near at the moment. A few strings are broken. I think he'll have to get them mended.
Well, he's done it again, you see. I think he's walked onto this green thinking it will be 5 or 6 yards quicker than when he had his early morning practice. And as you've said, Harry, it's still a bit damp in places, and there's not been a lot of sun on it, and the green actually won't have quickened up at all, but he's playing it as if it has.
Surely we can't be having another Brown run here, Mike. Again, he's 9-6 in front, this lad from Cumbria. Definitely second favourite on the heat, but that doesn't mean a thing once you start sending the balls.
Made a wonderful lead here. This is the sort of mark that Everitt Atkinson likes, about 40 yards, 35 to 40 yards, just with a bit of peg in it. John's done it again. He's played just that yard short again.
Might try and hit these. They're a bit near. Eric Atkinson must be pleased. He's played through at the end. Oh, just missed the jack and gone by and left Atkinson a double. Well, the Bancroft supporters have gone a bit quiet because they can't believe that John could be so dominated in these ends. He's not really put in any sort of telling blow, has he, Michael, up to now?
No, he's really struggling to find a length, and as you say, the generally noisy element that supports him and Fred Hume have gone a bit quiet.
Noisy but nice.
Depends whether you're playing against one of them or not.
Look a bit spread out, the balls, but they're not bad on the mark. Thumb peg mark coming down the crown.
Put this down very gingerly, did Eric. It's well short.
Bancroft got a bit of a chance to get in. Lad there playing a tactical game with his mate. Certainly just short again, Bancroft. He can't believe that he's not getting up to the jack. Atkinson doing quite well. Keeps getting that pencil to the card and sticking another one on. He's now got a nice handy 6-short lead.
Playing quite an unusual game here, Eric. You see a lot of people who play up and down one mark, but what he's doing is he's playing a triangle of a mark. Thumb peg.
It's not as though Atkinson hasn't given Bancroft some opportunities, though, but on the occasions when he has, Bancroft not taking advantage of them at all.
Well, it's a length play, Richard. He's you know, he's just not come to terms with the speed of the green, and he's very good at reading greens, John, normally, but it kids a lot of people, this green. That's why it's a bit hard to win here.
This is a very good opportunity now for Bancroft, surely.
I think the crowd will have something to say if he doesn't get two here.
Well, it was two for Bancroft, but it was a struggling two. It wasn't terribly impressive.
No, nothing to write home about, as they say.
Oh, but they all look the same on the card. Banjo will be very glad of them, because he struggled a little bit, but now got the jack. It's up to him now to set the tempo. He finds some marks. It'll be a bit difficult to play for this lad from Windermere, who's made a very, very good start in this match. But a good lead from Bancroft. Certainly par enough. Give it a chance, this ball. If it runs, he's won it. Good ball. Smack on the road. May have just gone missing the jack, but only just if it had.
Certainly a well-played ball.
Beautiful road. Painted road.
John's playing through, but I think the only way he can win is off his own, and he has done.
Oh, what a fluker. Look, Bancroft acknowledges that you don't mind a fluke or two, even in the Waterloo. Oh, that's cruel.
Well, we'll be seeing a postman delivering letters next.
Here's Atkinson wondering what he's doing. He's playing the game properly and he's one down. Just give it some sort of a chance, but he's just on the top side and gone out.
That could be an important end for John Bancroft, because I think he's come into this corner with a view to going full corners, because certainly Everett won't have played on this green anything like as much as John, and the corners are such a long way you can catch people. In fact, he's not gone as far as I thought he would do.
Just cut away, it's about 45, 50 yards and thumb peg mark. Just cutting up the centre of the crown. Certainly looking for a good lead. Played one roundabout, but a bit of room to work in there for Eric Atkinson. Big yard short. Oh, beautiful that. Peg down to the right now. Should begin to work down the hill. It's too far back.
I think John will want to know who's in. He's not certain that he's in with his short bowl. Terry Ashcroft has nominated it as being nearest.
Again short. Bancroft not struck anything like a consistent length, Michael, has he, with the balls he sent? He's played a ball a yard short and then played one a yard shorter.
No, he has struggled, and this would win clear, but he's unlucky. Quite an interesting contrast in deliveries between these two players. John Bancroft with a very whippy backswing, and Eric Atkinson with a very slow, deliberate, or almost slow motion backswing.
Yes, John jumps in the traps right away and flies out, doesn't he?
Oh, I can't wait to get on with it.
No, and Eric lines them up. He does a bit of a David Bryant job and lines it up and makes sure that everything's right before he lets it go. It's only a lump of wood, isn't it, Mike, when it's gone?
Yeah, it shouldn't be that difficult to send up, should it? Played one as John.
Step forward and lets the ball go. Good follow through. Way in the bottom. I think he may have just sussed it out a little bit here, Bancroft. I think he realises that Eric may struggle a bit over a distance, Mike. That's providing he can play him near. He's been spreading them out a bit, you see, Bancroft. Another one.
Certainly think his tactics right to go some distance, but you still have to play him.
One more, Bancroft. Narrows it down nicely, just one chalk in it now.
Well, he sneaked one there, a single to Bancroft. Little Fisher Sweet keeps getting them on the card. Well, he'll be quite happy. But it's certainly been a bit of a struggle to catch this lad up, Atkinson, who's made an excellent start. And I'm sure the people up in Cumbria and the Lake District who will be watching this, no doubt, because it's a very keen area of Crown Green balls. They'll be quite happy the way their man's playing today.
Now, John's done what I thought he would have done last time he had the jack in this corner. He's gone for a bit more distance. Just caught himself out, of course, by going those few yards further.
Won it. Good ball. Almost a dead length, that last ball from Atkinson, and Bancroft now got this one to beat. And give one this some sort of a chance, this. Going up to the jack. Good ball. Dear, he could have caused a bit of an upset there if he'd have clipped that ball. It would have knocked it in the side pocket and perhaps onto the jack.
The spectators around the green will be wondering now whether or not Eric Atkinson has had his day. 12 across.
He's had a few feels of the jack, Michael, hasn't he, Bancroft now? So he should have got it warmed up like to his hand and start playing some sort of reasonable balls. He's just played a very good ball at the last end, so perhaps we'll get one or two near balls now from Bancroft.
He's still just struggling with his lead, just to get his lead into a proper groove and make a good lead.
Atkinson, just adjustment there of the clothes. Comfortable. Gone out.
You'll be disappointed with that, Will John, because this is an excellent mark for a player to play who has a bit of green knowledge. It's the mark on which Brian Duncan's had so much success, and it's a very difficult mark for somebody to grasp who isn't really familiar with the green.
There's Eric Atkinson. He's along to look at the end. He may get a pleasant surprise when he gets there. He's certainly got one. I don't think it's decided yet whether he hasn't got the second ball to count. Yes, he's had a look at him himself and he's decided it's just one to Atkinson. After all the ends they've played, Mike, one or two indifferent ones, some good balls, and now even allowing for that, Atkinson is still in front.
Yes, and John will be a bit unhappy really with the fact that he hasn't managed to string a few better ends together. You see, the game's all about leading, and a man who leads well puts his opponent under pressure all the time, and Eric, in fairness, has led a lot better than John has. But this has been John's main trouble. Just, he can't come to terms with the pace of the green.
Lies two, Atkinson. One in front, 13-12, and lies two here. He's flying with this. Won't count anything with that ball. Two to the Cumbria man.
Well, that was a poor end for Bancroft, really. Showing the sort of problems he's had in the game so far. Played his first one well short. second one far too strong. There's the damage, 15 to Atkinson, 12 to Bancroft.
Certainly far enough. Certainly past the jack, well past the jack. Nearly 4 foot overplayed. Here's the winner coming in. Can't lose. Good ball from Bancroft. But adjacent, that one. And now Everett Atkinson got that one to beat. If he can pick the jack up and run it through, he'd get 2 good balls out of it. Certainly got to reach, be far enough. Nothing for short. He's in the bottom. Oh, in the pit, this gone. Bancroft should get another double here. He certainly needs them. He's 3 in arrears at the moment. Oh, Mike, at last he's played 2 together.
Yeah, he's played 2 good length bowls there. But I think the green was just a shade quicker over there, as evidenced by Eric's lead, which looked at one stage as being a good lead, and it went 4 foot past. John obviously now going to have a try at the other corners.
Well, he's played in and out on the other side of the green, hasn't he? Played a decent ball and then won a mile up, and then led 1 a mile up and played a decent ball with the second, and now perhaps he's looking to try his luck on this fresh land.
Well, it is short, but having said that, the jack's very near the edge, and it's not as bad a lead as it perhaps appears that. And he is playing into what is, generally speaking, the heaviest corner. And that's certainly caught Eric out.
Bancroft got that short ball to improve on. Here's Bancroft running after this ball, trying to get it down the hill. Certainly should be past the other ball. He's only just past it, so they're a fair way off the jack. Every chance that Atkinson might reach up past these 2 and count a single.
He's short, he's left them both. He's not even past his own first ball.
Well, Bancroft must be relieved there, because Atkinson had definitely had a real chance there to count the end, Mike, and missed it, didn't he?
Well, yes, it was unforgivable really not to reach, but I think he was caught out with the pace into that corner. But really, even if he'd gone off the green as he did the end before, he'd have given it a chance.
Fair lead. Not an easy piece of land. About a yard by. It's a good shot there of Atkinson getting it over, and some of the crowd tipping this short, but it's still running for me and could win the end. Won it.
Amazing after the last 2 bowls he played that he should then pick out a dead length. Now, has John reached? There's a long way short.
Well, this is a game of fits and starts, isn't it? There's no consistency in the match at all, really.
Well, this is another game that's looking as if it'll go very close at the end, perhaps a 20-all game. Because neither of them's really been able to take command of the match.
Bancroft briefly in the position of enjoying the lead in this match for the first time. Taken away from him at 16 across now.
You've not backed Bancroft, have you, Richard?
No.
Thank God for that. Bancroft knows I haven't backed him. I don't know whether Mike has. Have you, Mike?
No, after my tipping of Tommy Ashcroft, I thought I would stay clear of the bookies.
Oh, nice ball coming. Nice ball to play this. Front toucher. Well, there's not many of them in a pound. That's a real lead, that, from Atkinson.
And this is a good effort by John. He'll be very pleased with that. The object is to get one somewhere about, with a view either to striking or just touching it through next ball.
All depends what happens to this one of Atkinson's. Again, got it away, very sweet. Pace looks all right, still coming down the hill, played two alike for me here. Oh, two great balls.
Beautiful. Super ball.
Well, I think there's one very safe bet now that we could all make, and that is that John will not be short at these. The question is whether or not he strikes with a view to clear in the end, or in fact if he just played 2 yards through and connected with them, he'd find his own backwood counting, but he's striking.
Unsuccessful strike by Bancroft. 2 more to the man from Cumbria, Eric Atkinson, 18-16.
It's at times like this, of course, that the careless points given away at the start of the game really come home to roost.
Eric Atkinson now 2 in front. 18-16 against John Bancroft in red from Hyde in Cheshire. Been a game where they've never really been far apart, although Atkinson did go 15-12 in front, and now he's back in front again. 18-16. Just gone through a little, that. Looks close, but it's actually about 3.5 foot past the jack. Bancroft got to find one here. Pegs a length, it wins. Might just drift out. Some of the crowd are tipping that ball on the left to be in, but doesn't look it from here, but it may have a chance.
I'm surprised that Eric's playing without really knowing who's in. I think John will want to know before he sends his wood.
Atkinson, the big step forward and very deliberate delivery. Pushing it out, looking for a good ball here because he knows he needs one. He wants this on. Staggered up to the jack. I think that's the counting ball.
That certainly is. John's called for Terry to tell him whether it's 1 or 2, and it's only 1.
2 foot, John.
John's now going to have a proper look to see whether or not he fancies beating it or fancies knocking it off.
few problems here, Bancroft. He's got to sort this end out, because if Atkinson counts a single here, it would take him on to 19 and he could get game at the next end. It's 21 up. Bancroft doesn't really want Atkinson to count anything at this end. Oh, the crowd are tipping this with no sort of a chance at all.
Well, I don't know what John was trying to do there. That was neither one thing nor the other. I could really have understood him striking. The wood doesn't look close enough to strike at, but there are times when you think they're easier to knock off than to beat. But to play 4 yards through seemed to be a case of indecision on his part.
Eric Atkinson, Windermere, from the Bowness Bowling Club.
You know, he's come a very difficult mark here, I think. In many ways, I'd be surprised if John follows him on this thumb peg, because it's much more difficult than the straightforward finger peg. And John's followed him and not beaten it. Bad mistake by John there. Should have changed his peg. Well, this is a lot better.
Might even touch the jack. Yes, nice game.
John's best hope is for second bowl, really. Can't really expect to beat that.
Well, that was a disastrous end, that, for Bancroft. Not to take anything away from Atkinson, who played a rambling ball and then improved. Played a real good wood. Bancroft didn't beat a bad lead. Narrowed his first ball badly and then had to play a real good saver to stay in the match. Atkinson now leading for the game. 20 wants 1 and Bancroft wants 5 to get out.
He likes it. He likes it. Couple of foot short.
Well, he was lucky there, Bancroft. He just narrowed in time to just get past the short ball. It would have been a disaster there if he'd have struck the short ball. But he's counting at the moment, and now Eric Atkinson looking for another good ball here. Certainly played very well, this lad. Second favourite at the outset, but he's not allowed that to affect him at all. He's played up, but he's played a no ball. I think here it won't run, it's short. Bit of a lifeline out here for Bancroft. He's counting 1 and looking for another.
That's an excellent bowl of John's. He's changed his peg there to avoid the possibility of knocking either of Eric's short bowls in. And got a crucial 2.
Played one. Only a good ball, this. Touch it. Or almost. Eric Atkinson to make a name for himself here. A near toucher to beat. He only wants 1 per game, but it's narrow. narrow, he's coming the bottom side, missed the mark. Now Bancroft's found a mark, gives Atkinson a little bit of trouble here. Counts another. Two alike. Oh, put a toucher out and put another one in its place.
Brilliant bowls. They might be too near, and Atkinson's indicating he's going to strike. See if he has any more success than John did when he struck.
We'll just watch this one fly in now.
No, he's missed it by some distance. 20 all. It always looked likely.
Yes, your early predictions have come out right there, Michael, because he's, after about the 5th end, you said it looks like being a 20 apiece finish, and after all, that's how it's turned out. Even though Bancroft looked wrapped up and ready for bye-byes, didn't he, about 3 ends ago?
Well, I think a good lead by Eric at 2016, and John would have been in all sorts of trouble. As it was, he just managed to scrape past with his first bowl.
Bancroft's turned away in disgust from this ball, and it's better than a lot he's played this morning.
So, as they say, it certainly won't be last, I wouldn't expect.
It's not a daft ball by any means. It's not an easy mark.
This'll not beat it.
Flying, absolutely flying. 20 apiece. Sent one nearly back to Cumbria. It's dropped in the ditch. Bancroft looking to play a good ball here. And he's found one. He's found one. And he's got that to lick now, Atkinson. It's 20 apiece, and Bancroft come from the back after looking like being out of the sweep. Now stands game. Everitt. Pegs are gone. A bit of trouble here. Row on here. This could win it unless it
Done the gap.
It's gone through the gap. Oh, a good ball from Atkinson there. No connection. Through the gap, and he's out. 21-20 to John Bancroft at 5.
Well, quite a turn up for the books. John Bancroft not looking at all confident or purposeful in the early stages of that game. The victor, 21-20. And from the Department of Relevant Information, Eric Atkinson, by the way, had won his last 4 games 21-20. And he lost that one by that very score. No? It was an unusual sort of game, wasn't it? I mean, it was sort of in and out and tedious at times.
Yeah, John, he won't be satisfied with his performance, even though he's got through. He's come from behind 2016 and got out, but he won't be happy with the early part of the game. He really played them a long way off at times.
A lot of his problems seemed to be, Bancroft's problem was that he was bowling short an awful lot, wasn't he?
There's quite a few players have been bowling short. I think the green looks in absolutely superb condition, and indeed it is, but it's certainly that bit heavy today. I've noticed the balls are pulling up very quickly.
But early in the game, Atkinson gave him plenty of opportunities, really. He was winning the ends, but Bancroft
didn't take advantage.
Loads of opportunities.
That's right. It's so easy to do it. Atmosphere, maybe. Yeah, one of the top players you're expected to win, and you've got an underdog that starts playing well against you, and you wonder what's going on.
Do you think Bancroft will improve now?
I certainly think so. Yes, he'll be kicking himself tonight, and you know, making sure he's all geared up for tomorrow. Looking for a better performance. Let's have a look now at the results so far of the matches played today. And the pattern being some pretty close finishes. The first game, Cliff Johnson, 21-20 victor over Tom Ashcroft. The second match, Stuart Brown, a surprise here, 21-18, the victory over Fred Hume. And then the match we've just seen, another narrow game, John Bancroft, one of the favourites, coming back to win 21-20 against Eric Atkinson. So, the next match we're going to see is Derek Sanderson, and he'll be playing Richard Everitt. Now, Derek Sanderson from Preston, Richard Everitt from Cannock.
What do you know about these two, Noel?
Well, Derek again is one of the players that doesn't play an awful lot on the circuit. I don't know him that well, but Richard Everett is one of the very good young players coming through now. Excellent pedigree. His father won the Waterloo here in 1970. I remember well. He beat me on the way. And obviously
only 20 years old, Richard Everett, isn't he?
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
But there's his opponent, rather more senior, 50 years old in fact, Derek Sanderson, who is not, as Noel says, seen very much in the big sweeps, not the televised ones anyway. He's from Preston, works at British Nuclear Fuels, and he'll be facing quite a stiff game, I should think, against the young man who looks to probably have the edge in this match. That's Richard Everett. I know Richard Everett's father is in the crowd just behind us here somewhere, watching the progress of his son, wearing similar caps, I think you'll find, but there they are, the pre-match formalities. The toss-up, the next game, the fourth this morning, the last of the morning, Derek Sanderson, Richard Everett, and for the commentary, back to the little windswept Erie in the sky.
The final game of the morning session, ladies and gentlemen, features in blue from St Anne's and St Anne's ex-servicemen's bowling club, Derek Sanderson. And his opponent in yellow, Staffordshire, and the Green bowling club, Richard Everett.
Yes. This is the first end of the match between Richard Everett, a young man from Cannock, who you see here in yellow. The young man Richard is guided very much by his father Jack Everett, who will be around the green, former Waterloo champion, and his opponent recently moved to St Anne's here near Blackpool. It's Derek Sanderson in blue. And he's nearly done it. Oh, that was a good ball. Everett making an ideal start, getting the maximum at the first end of 2. Both on 5. The game 21 up. Everett now with the advantage 7-5. Richard Everett looking towards the Sanderson on the bottom side. I don't know what you think about it, Noel, but you know that we've had you know 2 21-20, well 21-18, 21-20, 21-20, and yet somehow, although that you know these players and they've all worked hard to get this far, but they all seem to be having difficulty, don't they, in coming to terms with the green. You know, in terms of leads, we've not had many really good played bowls with the man leading out.
No, I made comments earlier on that today is the first day of the competition where players are playing
matches, just single matches. There's no other people on the green at all. The early rounds of the competition are sometimes 4, 5 or even 6 other games going on. And at that stage, the concentration isn't on any one particular game, it's spread around the games. And now everybody's attention is focused on them, and it's probably just getting to 1 or 2.
Good reply there from Sanderson. Everett is getting behind that ball there and running after it, but can't get it to go another inch. One to Sanderson. Good collision there. Everett, nothing for short. Far enough, hits the jack, runs on with it. Working to the left, the run on. Short. Everett ran that last ball in. Everett, he just got near to it and he managed to get it to turn and count another. That was a vital double.
He's only 20 years old, but already is well respected in bowling circles.
Well, he certainly gets a good coaching by his father, no, doesn't he, Jack, who won the Waterloo here in 1970. I remember Jack winning it. It hurts me a little bit. He was a great winner, but I backed the runner-up that day.
It hurts me because he beat me on the way as well in about the 6th round, I think.
Yeah, he played really well that year, Jack.
Well, he spent a lot of time up here, if I remember correctly, practicing the Waterloo.
Now he's passed a lot of that on to his son, Richard, who I know he'd dearly love to see win this sweep. It'd be a great triumph for them. I think they'd be the first father and son ever to do it. I don't know of any others.
Well, certainly not in recent times.
I know Billy Dalton won the Talbot, and his lad won the Talbot as well, but I don't know of any father and son doing it at the Waterloo.
Well, many years ago it could have been, Harry. That's more in your time, I would think, than mine.
Yes, it was when I gave the horse tram job up, you know, and started commentating.
Ready? That's the only cup you'll get this year.
Some sort of a bang. Sanderson just got one right on the jack. Having a look what's left.
On the road and far enough, Harry.
Yeah, nothing for short, and gets a double out of it.
useful end now for Derek Sanderson. He was 10-6 in arrears. Now is it down to just 2?
Good ball. Terry Ashcroft, Rich looking inquiringly there at the end, and there's Terry Ashcroft. Got to try and pick a winner out of these two. They must be close. He just likes Everett's ball.
The blue one, very little in them.
But he likes the blue as the favourite.
Rich has certainly given himself an option now of being up with his last ball. He's got the jack or the 2 balls to rest on.
That won't play any part in the end at all. Sanderson hoping now just to count with his first wood.
If he could just turn that blue ball out, he'd end up with 2 for himself.
Oh, what a good ball.
Well played. Did the necessary thing. Richard Everett just rammed the jack. Collected 1 for himself.
He looks very confident.
Yes, I don't think he's a lad that he has a lot of confidence, because I think he's been sort of well tutored by his father, but apart from that, he needs the ability himself, doesn't he, whatever he tells him. And he's always full of confidence, this lad, and he tries all the options that are available. You know, he played through. If he has to do, he does it. A very good potential as a player. For a lad of 20, of course, he's made tremendous strides to compete at this level on something like equal terms. Left it on the mat. Sanderson, our co-commentator Michael was telling us, is a member of his own club now. He's got 3 clubs, which is a few less than Jack Nicklaus has, gone into Tommy Docherty anyway.
Just referring back to an earlier match, Harry, I heard a comment before. Fred Hume was decrying the fact he'd played so poorly in his early game, and one of his compatriots said, "Don't worry, Fred, I've only got a 19-inch telly, your balls won't be on."
Yeah, some cruel comments, isn't there? He's just been over there to get some tea, and the chap shouted out to the crowd, "That's the only cup you'll get this year, Fred."
Yes, a very fair lead from Sanderson.
Everett on his way up to the end, trying to play a good ball here. He's just short. Beautiful road. Young Richard Everett on his way back behind the end. Just had the bad news that Sanderson's ball is still counting. Sanderson walking up, hoping to play another here, and does it. Applause. Sanderson was certainly from the bottom side. Ooh, a bit of a wayward ball there from Everett. Not like him at all.
It'll be 2 to Derek Sanderson, although they're still
Measures,
pausing before the final decision, and they've decided to call for the measures. 2 would put Derek Sanderson into the lead at 12-11.
Yes. First ball measured. Sanderson, 2.
2 it is to Derek Sanderson.
I think Sanderson's playing some of these like marks about 30, 35 yards, and he leads fairly well. He's pretty steady, isn't he, in all of
He doesn't seem to be overawed at all. In fact, we've talked about the favourites for each of these games, and yet the other man has stuck to his task very well. They've all been close games. They've not come here just to make the numbers up.
No, nothing like it. No, he's played well. He's played well on these marks as Sanderson. Very, very useful. Never far away. 1 or 2 like a big yard, but he hasn't thrown many ramblers about. Mid short, Everett. The number of short balls played on the screen early doors, when it starts to dry out, and the speeds vary.
That's right. Well, most of the competition has been played afternoon time, when the green does normally run faster.
Oh yeah, got to win. Good ball.
Nicely played by Richard Everett, who incidentally won the junior Waterloo, so he wants to know his way around this patch.
Wears that cap at the same angle as his famous father did as well. Slightly down over the eyes to protect from any sunlight.
Drifted well past the jack. It's a fair throw down here. As this ball come down and again. He's got to run on to win. Died short.
You noticed Derek's ball seemed to be an awful lot smaller than Richard's, and therefore will actually take a bit more pushing to get to an end.
Yes, there could be a discrepancy in the weight here, because he seems to have to wallop him out a little bit, Sanderson, doesn't he? Over a long way.
He's walloped this one out. Nearly walloped Richards out. Oh, absolutely brilliant.
Absolute wonderful ball. Well, Richard Everett would be putting that on the card. You couldn't really blame him, because it was an absolute hooking ball, and Sanderson pulled one out of the bag.
I think, taken all round though, these 2 are playing the best, most accurate bowls that we've seen so far today.
Well, they'll have been watching the other games and will have learnt a lot. Obviously they'll have noted how many times people were short, and they seem to be adjusting that bit better. Having said that, that one's gone flying past the jack.
It certainly wasn't short.
Certainly wasn't.
You think he's listening to us? No. Because he's... Well, that's well short. Sanderson now.
Gone out. It is uphill that way, and Derek obviously knows that, and he's given it a good push, but a little bit too far.
Well, it's Christmas week for Everett here, wasn't it? He gets 2 for nothing there, gift wrapped. I mean, he screams one through with the first ball, Sanderson, and then nearly does it again with the second. Well, Everett must be absolutely delighted with those 2-0.
Richard needed those 2 then. He's just seen a 6-inch ball, corner to corner, being beaten, and then he gets a gift the next end. Awkward little place where he's put the jack here. It can very easily go sailing past. A little bit of a hill there.
Yes, I think this is one of the spots where you've done a lot of gardening on here.
That's right, yes. If you're a bit tight of the jack, it'll peg away, and also just slightly back, and it just won't turn in at all. See how they're drifting away there, Harry?
Yes, they just sort of slip away past the jack.
I think they're all experiencing some difficulty with this wind. I know we keep talking about it, but it certainly is very windy out there.
Still a big yard by. Just gone in. Short ball. Sanderson. Got to miss it. Don't think he can. Knocked it up to the jack. Very disappointed there, Everett, because he felt getting round that ball he had a really good winner. Yes, good second. Double there for Sanderson.
Strange, he's gone back virtually to the same place as Richard sent the jack last time, going across to the north stand there.
Played one.
It's a strange tactic, but so far it seems to be working.
Stop there on the drop just before it begins to run down the hill there. Everett's only a foot short from hand, really. Yard off the jack. There's Sanderson. Going to play another one here. Certainly far enough.
And the trouble with that ball of Rich's is that if he wants to play with any weight, it's slap bang in the way.
Has he done any damage? Has he made the back ball? The one above the jack in blue. Everett's sympathetic here. He likes his own very much. I think we're going to get the stringman on here. Terry Ashcroft again round the other side, and the referee, Terry Ashcroft, has tipped this ball just to the bottom and right of the jack. Yellow ball.
It's a good effort by Everett.
Everett! 1!
Yes, he was right to be confident about it. Counts 1.
Well, he would have been a bit unlucky there, Richard, wouldn't he? I mean, he's played a really good ball. He's picked the jack up and just humped it over a couple of times. I know that Sanderson played 2 good balls, but that was a winner that Everett played. He'd have been very unlucky not to count it.
Perfect line and length, just creeping around his short ball and taking the jack.
Gone. Well, it's won it, but it's not a good ball. A long way off the jack. Found one, Everett. Fair ball this. 18 inches round the back. I think he's a bit happier with that. He knew he let the first one go a little bit free. Oh, there's a bit of a row on here. It might be narrowed now. It's cocking away, it's gone out. 1-2 Everett.
He's just keeping his nose in front all the time. These are the sort of marks that Richard Everett likes very much. Round peg, about 25 yards, up to the middle of the green.
Yes, he may have cracked it here, Noel. He's played one, Everett. It's roundabout. Not a bad ball. Looking for another. He's round the top side. He might hang in the air a bit.
He'll certainly get another, but it's on the wide side. Well, he's left plenty of room if Derek Sanderson should be a bit too far. He's not likely to hit anything. Could easily go sailing through. Very easily go sailing through.
It's gone. Beautiful road, but he's napped him on that mark, Everett. He got away with a ball a bit tight, but a fairly good ball, and then played one high in the air. And Sanderson went screaming through to leave Everett a good double. That takes him to 19. Everett going for game. 21 up, he's winning 19-15. Wants a double at this end, and that should put a big smile on his father, Jack Everett's face.
I dare say Jack's had a bob or two on his son.
Live and let live ball, that. I don't think he's really happy with that, Richard Everett. He wanted it a bit nearer. Sanderson promptly licks it. Good wood, that. Where the previous games have finished, Noel, this could turn upside down again here, because he's just gone by Everett. He's gone out.
There's every chance of a double here. Derek Sanderson take him to 17. He knew that was short. He signalled to the marker that he'd only got one as soon as it had left his hand. Nice. Certainly only looks one.
Yeah, I don't think Sanderson
asking for measures.
He's not quite sure now. You're right, he gave it up when it left his hand, but he's happy for one. That's what he's taken. Did he get two and conceded? Well, he got a double out of that end. I think Everett relied on his own judgment in reverse there, and I think he gave him a double there. He must have been quite satisfied that there was no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's a strange outcome to that end for sure. It's heartbreaking, you know. You sent your ball and you're walking or running after it, and all of a sudden you hear these cries saying it's short. Bottom drops out of your boots.
Terrific judges, aren't they, these people?
Yeah.
They're very rarely ever wrong, that's the trouble.
Well, the thing is, they're always stood at the side, you know.
Played another one. Two alike. If he licks one, he licks them both. Got to find one now. Got to find one, never mind short. Might pick the jack up clean. Gone through the gap and out. Now then we've got some sort of a finish on our hands. 19 apiece.
Well, nobody's given the games up, have they, this morning? All come fighting back.
Real topsy-turvy jobs, haven't they? Blokes have looked out cold, they've come back, got in front, and then they've lost. And yet, I thought young Richard Everett here had really got the grip on the game and looked to be going home at the right time. Played very well, but this man now, Sanderson, come back very, very strong. Played an absolute no ball down the far side.
No, nobody's been really consistent. So, bad lead from Derek Sanderson there. It's within sight of game.
Good ball from Everett. Lucky lad to get a chance to repair the damage, because if Sanderson would have put anything like a lead up there, the pressure would have really been on this young man from Cannock. Might get up here, Everett. Has a chance, a real good chance of clinching this match and a place in the 8th round.
Well, he's putting his hands up.
Yes, it's a shake hands job. Everett getting the double and winning the game 21-19 over Derek Sanderson from St Anne's.
The young man, 20 years old, Richard Everett, the victor, 21-19, continuing the pattern of close games that we've seen this morning. Mike, I suppose in some ways you'd say it went to form, that match, really?
Well, yes, the bookies would have had Richard just as favourite, I think, but Derek's a very solid player, and they both again struggled for parts of the game, and other time they played really well.
You're saying to Noel Burrows while the game was in progress that they were giving us, in general, the best bowling that we've seen so far this morning. Would you agree with that?
I would, in fact, yes, end in, end out for consistency, and it's a difficult game to play, the 4th game of the morning. Again, they practiced, 9:30, 10, and it's now the best part of 1 o'clock. You get people walking past you, going for the lunch while you're playing. So it's not an easy game to play, and I think they played well.
But could they have had an advantage, though? And of course, they've seen the previous 3 matches, and they've seen what was going wrong and where people were having difficulties.
Yeah, you can see too many matches, really, before you play. Most players, having practice, want to get on reasonably quickly. And I think probably the ideal game to play is probably the 2nd rather than the 4th.
Yeah. But it was a good performance by young Everett, wasn't it?
Oh yes, yes. Mind you, he's a young man with a lot of pedigree and played in top-class competition for a long time now. Frightening, really, when you consider how old he is.
Just 20 years old. I think we can have a look at the results of the games this morning. The first one we saw was Cliff Johnson, 21-20 victor over Tom Ashcroft. Then the widest margin we've had this morning, Stuart Brown, 21-18 over Freddie Hume. Big surprise, that one. Marvellous comeback by Freddie Hume, but didn't make it. John Bancroft, one of the favourites, 21-20 again against Eric Atkinson. And the match that we've just seen, Richard Everett, 21-19 against Derek Sanderson. Well, there's the winner, Richard Everett. Well done, Richard.
Thank you very much.
It was a close game, nip and tuck all the way, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, I felt halfway through that I just needed to lead a couple of bowls and that the game was mine for the taking, but I just couldn't lead a bowl in the middle part. And then I went 19-15, he pegged it back and I thought, Christ, here we go. But I've won, so that's it.
And yet we were saying that you gave us the best bowling that we'd seen this morning so far.
Right, yeah. Well, I'd seen the first 3 games and nobody had reached, had they, the first 3 games
That's right.
at all. So I